Imagine someone secretly removing pages from the story of your life, not tearing them out, but replacing entire weeks with a single sentence. You'd panic, but that's exactly what your brain has been doing for years. Not because you're forgetting everything, not because time is speeding up, but because your mind has become astonishingly efficient at deciding what isn't worth remembering. And the older you get, the more ruthless that editor becomes. Think back to the first house you ever lived in. Even if you haven't seen it in decades, chances are you can still picture tiny details. The smell after it rained, the squeak of a particular door, the height of the kitchen counter before you grew taller than it. Now try remembering what you did 3 Tuesdays ago. For most people, that's nearly impossible. The strange part isn't that childhood memories survive. It's that so much of adult life disappears almost instantly. Why? Most people believe the answer is simple.
When you're young, every year represents a huge slice of your life. As you age, each year becomes a smaller percentage of everything you've experienced, so it naturally feels shorter. It's a satisfying explanation. But there's a problem. If our brains really measured life like fractions, then every birthday would shrink time by the exact same rule. Human experience doesn't work that neatly. Some years feel endless. Others vanish without leaving a trace. Clearly, something more complicated is happening. To understand it, imagine your brain as a filmmaker. Every waking second, it's recording reality. Not with a camera, but with billions of neurons exchanging electrical signals. Except it doesn't record everything. It decides what deserves a close-up and what can be skipped. When you're a child, almost every scene is unfamiliar. Every street is unexplored. Every animal is fascinating. Every conversation teaches you something new. Your internal filmmaker keeps shouting, "Roll camera." Everything is worth recording. That constant recording comes at a cost.
Children's brains consume an astonishing share of the body's energy because they're building new connections at incredible speed. Every unfamiliar experience reshapes the brain's wiring. Novelty isn't just exciting, it's biologically expensive. But those costs buy something extraordinary: dense memories. Researchers studying perception have repeatedly found that unexpected events seem to last longer than predictable ones. Show people a stream of identical images and slip in one unusual picture, and many swear that the odd image stayed on screen longer, even when every image appeared for exactly the same amount of time. Their brains simply devoted more processing power to the surprise. More attention, more memory, more perceived time. Now imagine your average weekday. The same alarm, the same bathroom mirror, the same commute, the same emails. Your brain has already seen this movie hundreds of times. So instead of filming every frame, it starts making highlights. Wake up, drive, work, dinner, sleep. An entire day compressed into a handful of mental snapshots. This efficiency is one of the brain's greatest strengths. Without it, ordinary life would be overwhelming. Imagine noticing every brick you pass on your way to work, or consciously analyzing every face in a crowd. You'd exhaust yourself before lunchtime. Your brain saves energy by predicting what comes next.
Usually, it's right. The downside is that prediction erases detail, and detail is what makes time feel rich. Scientists have also explored another piece of the puzzle. The speed at which information moves through our nervous system changes throughout life. As the brain ages, the pathways carrying those signals become more elaborate, and communication can become less efficient. While researchers continue to debate exactly how this shapes our perception of time, many agree that the brain's changing biology influences how richly we experience each passing moment. Time itself doesn't accelerate. Our experience of it changes. Then there's a curious paradox. Have you ever noticed that an exciting vacation seems to disappear while you're living it? Every morning arrives too quickly. Every evening comes too soon. You wish you could freeze the moment. Yet months later, that same trip feels enormous in your memory. You remember the unfamiliar streets, the food, the conversations, the unexpected detours. Now compare that with an ordinary work week.
Each afternoon crawls. You check the clock over and over. But 6 months later, those days have collapsed into a blur. The days that feel longest aren't always the ones that leave the deepest mark. This reveals something unsettling. Your life isn't measured only by hours. It's measured by memorable moments. Two people can both live for 80 years, yet one feels as though they've lived several lifetimes, while the other wonders where the decades went. The difference isn't the clock on the wall. It's the richness of the memories carried forward. The good news is that your brain is remarkably easy to surprise. You don't need to move across the world. Walk a different route home. Learn to play an instrument. Read outside your favorite genre.
Talk to someone whose life is completely unlike yours. Cook a meal you've never tasted. Travel if you can. Create something that didn't exist yesterday. Every unfamiliar experience tells your internal filmmaker to start recording again. Perhaps that's why childhood feels magical. Children aren't better at living. They're simply encountering a world that's brand new. For them, almost every day is an expedition. As adults, we often mistake familiarity for stability, forgetting that routine quietly compresses our memories into smaller and smaller files. The calendar doesn't change. We do. One day, years from now, you'll look back on this chapter of your life. The question won't be how fast it passed. It will be how much of it remained vivid enough to keep. Because in the end, a long life isn't just counted in birthdays. It's counted in the moments your brain decided were worth remembering. And tomorrow, when your alarm goes off, your brain will ask the same silent question it asks every single day. Is today different enough to save?